Yeah. So, who is going to guess what we are going to learn today? Any guesses? Come on, come on. Yeah.
Gaining access, maybe.
Okay. And
Take
anybody
down Google
else?
servers.
Who's talking? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So who others are guessing what we're going to learn today?
Taking down FB's GitHub.
Gaining and mental.
Okay. And okay, fair. So gaining access is what we're going to start tomorrow with Metasploit console and MSF console, that is also called as. And I'm going to start with password cracking also tomorrow. Whereas today we are seeing these particular aspects, these particular topics today. That is, one is DNS enumeration and zone transfer, and some tools that help us do the DNS enumeration and zone transfer too. And then we're also looking at vulnerability scanning. So I've told you yesterday itself that, we're going to do vulnerability analysis. I'm going to introduce you with some Nmap scripts, how to load scripts, custom scripts, kind of things, and also some other different tools. So this is what we're going to look at today. DNS enumeration and zone transfer. After that, we're going to look at vulnerability scanning. After that, Nmap script engine, that is, to run custom Nmap scripts. And then we're going to look at a crazy tool called Nikto. And after Nikto, we're going to, this is just like an add-on bonus today. So WP scan, Zoom scan, and Droop scan. So probably this was not in the course, but I wanted to tell this to you so that, you get some specific info about that too. So without any delay, let's actually jump in. DNS enumeration. So who is going to tell me what is DNS? Hello?
It's like a domain name system.
Okay, domain name system, that's good. So what do you mean by domain name system or domain name server? Let's take it as domain name server. So what do you mean by domain name server? What does it do?
Basically, basically it's like, for example, if you take, it's a phone book for the internet, which has all these servers, whatever it's going on.
Good. Okay, that is one. Any much clear definition that anybody else wants to give it? Just a simple definition. Let's not dive into total technical stuff. I want to keep it simple. Okay, if just give me one common example if you have to explain DNS, domain name server.
Collective name for spread out servers.
Collective name for spread out servers. Okay, but what is it exactly?
Something like decentralized or something.
Decentralized? No. We are not going into that all details. I just want you to answer it very simply. What is it? Domain name server. What does it do? Okay. So yeah, let me answer it myself. So humans came up with domain name servers because we are lazy. Okay. To keep it simple, just because we are lazy, we came up with a concept called domain name server. Though, so what it does is, so generally, if you have to visit a website or if you have to, visit something on internet, it has an IP address or it has address, for suppose, just a sequence of numbers, which is a bit hard to remember, is it? Which is why we use domain name server, which maps a name to the IP address. Okay, for example, if you go to google.com, it takes you to this beautiful search engine, is it? Google.com. Whereas they just search for the IP address of Google.com. You have something about the IP addresses of Google and something else. So you can actually get those IP addresses by pinging too. So that actually gave me the DNS server of Google. So not that. Google actually has its own IP address, right? Google.com. So you can go and ping google.com and it will give you this IP address. So just instead of remembering the IP addresses, we have something called as a google.com as an alias name of that address. So which is a work of DNS to actually map it up. So that is the exact functionality of a DNS. So what we are doing right now is DNS enumeration. Okay. So enumeration, or you can also call it as an extended reconnaissance. So reconnaissance. So does it ring a bell? Maybe a few sessions back, we have actually discussed about reconnaissance. What is reconnaissance?
Gathering information.
Gathering information. Very good. Yeah. So truly to be simple, that is it. Gathering information about something. So enumeration is getting much detail about something. So maybe you have an IP address or something, you want to get much information maybe about who registered it or something like that, like, you know, another what DNS servers it is using, what namespace servers it is using, what mail exchange servers it is using, or something like that. That is called as enumeration. Okay, where you're grabbing out much more info about an entity or something like that. So now what is a zone transfer? So in a DNS zone, all these DNS stuff is stored as records, DNS records, all the DNS information or the structure, if you see, is stored as DNS records. So if at all a DNS or a domain name server is misconfigured, or if it is not properly configured and there is a zone transfer enabled to it, this is a kind of attack where you actually transfer all the DNS records from your primary server to a fake secondary server. You understood? Now, why is this?
So would you please repeat it?
Okay, from where?
From the zone transfer.
Okay, so you have all your records, DNS records, and the structure of DNS, that is domain name server and zone. And zone transfer means that if at all a DNS is misconfigured or is not properly configured, you can actually go ahead and grab all those things and transfer it from the primary server that you have to another fake server for your own use, so that you can examine it much into detail and get some more important information. So that is what is zone transfer. It's a kind of attack. Okay. So the tools that we're going to use to do this is DNS enum is one of the thing. DNS recon is next one, and Fierce. So apart from these three, you actually have many other tools. You have Dig, you have what else? One is Dig. You have the other is NSLookup, or maybe if you want some minimal information, you can actually go onto Google and type out about and check about who is lookup to, for example. So I can go down to who is lookup and IP, whois.net. And then in here, whatever domain that you want to search for, maybe I just want to search for google.com or any other domain that you want. So go ahead and hit it. And you can find some DNS information or information about that particular domain itself here. So you can find about the updated date, creation date, URL, registered URL, domain status, and the name servers it is using, NS1, NS2, NS so and so, and then something about the DNS. So this is something about a minimal information. So let's actually get into how to do this with these tools. Okay, DNS enum and something like that. So whois we've already discussed about. The next part is DNS enum. So generally we had some different tools that actually, gave some info about the DNS stuff, and for zone transfer, you had to do something else. But then from DNS enum, it actually automates that process too. So you can actually have both your zone transfer and and enumeration about a particular domain about this. So for this particular thing, I'll be using a site called Altoro Mutual. Altoro Mutual is something like the vulnerable metasploitable machine you have. So this was purposely built for people to hack into it or practice your skills. Okay, you can actually access it with demo.testfire.net, or else you can actually go ahead with altoromutual.com too. altoromutual.com. Both get you to the same page. So let me actually perform my DNS enum on this. So what was the usage as you saw in the PPT? This DNS enum space. Who's telling me? Come on, help me out with the command. I think you guys have seen in the PPT, is it? Okay. So first thing is, you can actually directly give the host itself, or else to get you can actually use the tag enum and then the host. Altoro Mutual. Now this will start enumerating whatever that has. And when I tell you about so and so options that you can use, you guys have to go ahead and experiment with the other options too. Understand? So let's wait for this to complete. I don't know, for some reason this is going a bit slow. Right? So okay, so while it actually goes on performing the DNS enumeration on that, so let me tell you one thing. Tomorrow we're gonna discuss about something very, very interesting. And I actually dropped a hint too while starting this session. We are going to learn about password cracking tools, brute forcing, and then other than that, we are also going to see, and we are actually going to start about gaining access part of it. So the most important tool in that is MSF console, Metasploit, if you've heard of. Like, yeah, I think you might have heard of. So did you actually hear about this Metasploit framework? Guys? Not much. Okay, good. Anybody else who have heard of Metasploit framework? That is an exploitation framework which is very, very popular. Okay, you have all sorts of exploits in that. All you have to do is start your Postgres server, get into the Metasploit framework, search for the proper exploit that you want, you need to, again, after that, you have to enter those and set those parameters or options in that particular exploit. And if at all it requires a payload, you need to upload the payload. And then hitting on one button, exploit is going to actually, boom, give you the access. So, whenever people try to learn about hacking, the most important or the most interesting thing that they actually want to see is the gaining access part of it. But then, you also have to throw some light on information gathering and scanning too. In fact, those are the steps that are actually going to take you to the gaining access part of it. Right? So if you're actually able to see here, this is trying to perform zone transfer, AXFR zone transfer on the name servers that you have over here, and it is actually refused. Why? Because the person, whoever it was, who has designed the AutonomyMitchell.com, he has actually secured the DNS part of it. Only the front end or website part of it is hackable. So, and to be much more precise about this, in today's world, you won't find many, you won't find many DNS servers that are actually misconfigured. Most of them are actually secure. So I can say that 90% of the time, zone transfer will fail. So let me actually, put this over here. And oh yeah, so this is actually went through. So this is also searched for in Google searches. And other than that, if you can see it somewhere at the bottom, this is actually trying to brute force the subdomains. Okay, so I'm actually going to quit this process over here. Brute forcing and something is what we're going to look at tomorrow. I'll be telling you about word lists, about where to get awesome word lists for your brute forcing and stuff, for different things sorted out properly. So you have something called as a checklist. Yeah, we'll be talking about that tomorrow. So this particular part of it is just, trying to brute force the subdomains if it has any. So let me actually take you to another website that actually allows you to zone transfer. That is, let me check that if that is it. Zone transfer.me. Zone transfer, yeah. So yeah, this one, zone transfer.me, is also something like a purposely made zone transfer allowed domain kind of thing. So you can actually practice all your stuff on these vulnerable stuff out there. Okay, so don't ever try to do it on live stuff. And if at all you have that, that you actually want to pen test some live thing, always take a written consent. So let's perform this on zonetransfer.me and let's see what it gives us. And one more generic question. Have you guys heard of something called as a CTF?
Sure.
CTF. Have you guys heard of CTF? Something called as a CTF?
I think CTF is something like a between the hacking professionals and the people that who are learning.
Come again.
CTF is nothing but it's basically just like a competition between the professional hackers and the students that were learning.
Okay. Good one. Anybody else?
Contest is the flag.
What is that? What is that?
Capture the flag.
Capture the flag. Yes. So a CTF essentially is capture the flag. So it is like a game for people who are actually trying to learn hacking or something. Okay. So what happens in the CTF is there are actually two types of CTFs. The CTFs. One is a single person or single team CTF, wherein you actually have to hack a vulnerable machine that has clues in it. So essentially, what is a capture the flag generally? Maybe if you've attended the events in your college, maybe you might have you might have participated in something called as a treasure hunt or something like that. Have you? Where you'll be given clues to find out stuff, hidden somewhere in your premises or somewhere, something like that, etc., etc., etc. So that is something similar, but then this is something in the cyber world. Okay, you'll be given a vulnerable machine with flags that you have to capture. That will be the last step, getting the root flag. Whereas the process that you have to do is actually grab out those clues, follow those clues, and exploit some services to gain access, escalate your privileges, and etc., etc., etc. Simply, you just have to hack that machine and grab that flag. That is a very interesting thing that you can actually do. That is one type of CTF. The second type of CTF is a red team, blue team CTF, where each team will be defending their machine and simultaneously attacking the opposite team's machine, something like that. Okay, so let's see if we can actually perform a CTF later in this week. Okay, I'll actually show one of the CTFs. Okay, that's going to be interesting. So you guys have to cope up with me. Bear with me. Okay, so yeah, so this actually performed a successful DNS zone transfer. See, this is a purposely made zone transfer enabled vulnerable domain name server, something like that. So you generally won't find much critical information here, but then you can see that it has actually queried out all those DNS records or something like that, some hidden servers or something. So go ahead and you can open these stuff. You can try pinging them or something. So this is something about DNS zone transfer using DNS enum. Let's go to the next tool, that is DNS Recon. Now this is also something very similar. DNS Recon. Let's actually present and give you the help menu. Oh, for some reason, yeah. So all right. So here you can actually have your DNS Recon as the first command, and after that you have to have a tag T or a tag domain, and after that you have to mention your domain name, whatever domain you want to perform your zone transfer, or grab those details out. And then the other thing, to actually perform a zone transfer, you have to give this particular option, that is tag T and then AXFR to get it out for zone transfer. Okay, so I don't want to do the zone transfer right now, but let me just do a normal recon process on it. DNS Recon T Altoro Mutual. And simultaneously let it actually run, and let me actually show you Fierce also. So all these tools, all these three tools, that is DNS Enum, DNS Recon, and Fierce, come built in with Kali. If at all you don't see it in your menu, you can directly hit apt install and the tool's name. Okay. And one thing, guys, I wanted to warn you about is whenever you install Kali or any Linux based or Debian based OS, and you actually go to the etc and app, you'll find the sources.list is it. Don't ever try to tamper that sources.list. Okay. One thing I want to warn you about, don't tamper with the sources.list. Sources.list is a place where you have the links to the repositories. And if at all you plug in a very unstable repositories, your OS might break. Okay, so be careful with it. Don't tamper the sources.list. Use only the official repositories from kali.org and don't plug in anything else. Okay, simple thing. Now let's also look up for Fierce. Tag H will always give you the help. And then there you go. You can see the usage here itself. Okay. So let's do that. Fierce-DNS space Altoro Mutual. And Fierce is a bit fast. And I specifically, so personally, I prefer Fierce over DNS Recon and DNS, if I want to do. Okay, so general enumeration, a timeout error. Okay, fine. There was a timeout error. So let's actually leave that DNS Recon. But then, yeah, that is a usage of DNS Recon. And then, yeah, this is Fierce. This is trying to do the zone transfer. Again, you don't have to mention any other, any other options or parameters to make it do the zone transfer like DNS Recon. Just Fierce-DNS and your domain name. It will automatically try the zone transfer also. And if you're actually worried about the second part of this, that is word list dictionary.txt. So a word list essentially, okay, I'll leave this question open to you. What do you mean by word list? Have you guys heard of what is a word list?
Possible passwords that can be used by the user, like the victim.
Good.
All common passwords.
All the common passwords, okay. And hello? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, now you are not audible, sir.
Okay, so whatever you told was actually partially correct.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
Generally have passwords to call. Is it okay now? Hello?
It's breaking in the middle, sir. For a while it's fine, then it starts. What do you say? It's being stuck, sir. Your voice. It's breaking. Your voice is breaking, sir.
Okay. Give me just a minute. I think my internet connection is stable. Just a minute. Let me change my network and actually get back here. Meanwhile, think about what is a word list exactly. Okay. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? I mean,
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
if it's okay, it's okay. All right then. So yeah, so since due to an unstable connection, there is a request time out here. Anyways, yeah. So we have already checked this out with DNSNM. Altoro Mutual is something that is not allowing zone transfer. So anyways, that's going to fail. So this is how it happens. So now let's move on to the next thing. So I think I was asking you about word lists, right? And some of you have told that it is a list that contains a passwords or something like that. So not only passwords, it's a list of words. Okay, as simple as that. A word list is a list of words that can be used for brute forcing. Okay. Now, as we discussed brute forcing in the earlier sessions, what about brute forcing? It's nothing but directly guessing some words if it fits in and it gives you the access to something like this. So word lists can be used in different tools for different types. For example, if you're actually using a brute force list for like getting the subdomains of a domain, that is where you can use a word list. The other thing is password cracking. The other thing is username enumeration. So many other different areas are where you can actually use the word list itself. Okay, and by default in Kali you will have the word lists here. User share word lists. So by default you can see your built-in word list over here. Derb and Derbuster, they are the tools that enable you to go ahead and search for directory listings. So a directory listings is, if you guys have remembered when we were discussing about Google Docs, they actually saw directly downloadable movies on Google, is it? From Google indexing. So when you don't properly configure your server to not allow the directory listing, there are open directories that you can actually go to that link, click and download. Okay, so that is something about directory listing, and Derb and Derbuster are used for that. So let's not discuss that now. And this particular thing that you see, rocku.txt, is a very common word list, and that comes built in with Kali again, So this is a zipped one. You have to unzip it and use it if at all you want to use. So let's see much in detail about the word list tomorrow. And so now we have completed about DNS enum, DNS recon, and FIAs. And with that, we complete the DNS enumeration and zone transfer. Let's get into the next interesting thing, which is vulnerability scanning. Okay. Yeah, again, open question. Who's going to tell me what is vulnerability scanning? Just a minute guess, and yeah, we can actually move on.
How that system can be cracked open.
Okay. And
Weak point of target machine.
Hello?
Sir, basically vulnerability scanner is nothing but a basic computer program designed to access other computers to access the other computers, networks and applications.
Good. That was very close. So yeah, that might as well be the proper definition of it. So, performing various scans on the assets to actually find out if there are any vulnerabilities in. So most probably you'll be using automated tools over here, and if you're talking about vulnerabilities, they can actually be a very simple misconfiguration to, a very critical design flaws. So you just can't stop it to be anything. Okay. You can again have different types of vulnerabilities. So one thing you might have to take help of when you're actually searching for vulnerabilities is the CVE.mitre. So CVE is nothing but common vulnerabilities and exposures, where this is something like a database, something like a platform where you actually find specific IDs associated with different vulnerabilities. And you can actually find much more detail about a vulnerability. For example, let me actually, so right before I actually type, you have got it, VSFTPD 2.3.4, and I want to type CVE details. So you have CVE details over here, okay? And yeah, see. You get these details with the CVE ID, what is associated with it. You can actually get it with which versions were actually using this and if it is patched or not. And then you also have something called as a CVSS score, which is something like a severity score or something like that. So CVE database is something that tells you in detail about vulnerabilities with the associated IDs as well. Okay, so you might actually want to look at that CVE.mitre. Okay, so that is a database where you find all your references to your vulnerabilities, something like that. So next, how are you going to perform vulnerability analysis on any machine? You have various tools to do that, and the first thing we're going to discuss about is Nmap. So as I told you, Nmap is one of the very important tools when you're actually doing the hacking part. So Nmap has an additional functionality to run different scripts as well. It is not just a host scanner or port scan or something like that. You can actually do the vulnerability assessment too, using different scripts, which we are actually going to discuss in the next slide. And other than that, we are going to discuss about Nikto today. And from this part onwards, these are all properly packaged GUI based. I mean, GUI based as in you can actually see a good dashboard and something like a complete vulnerability analysis tools. Okay. Nessus, Qualys, Nexpose, these are all proprietary tools, whereas OpenVAS is an open source alternative to those. Okay. Which we are also going to discuss about that. Not Nessus, Qualys, or Nexpose. We are going to discuss about OpenVAS too. Okay. So let's move to the next one, Nmap scripts. So I told you that Nmap has an ability to run scripts too, right? So what kind of scripts does it run? It runs the scripts with the extension of .nsc, that is Nmap script engine. It stands for Nmap script engine. So the usage is have your Nmap written and then tag script and equal to with the location of the script. And then these things are the normal ones that you actually saw in the previous class, okay? Options and IPs. So what scripts actually allow you to do the vulnerability scanning? So you can get these both from GitHub. They are named as, one is Vulners, the other is Vulscan. So let me actually paste those links in the chat as we. Guys, is my voice breaking or something like that again?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, little bit, sir.
Okay. Something about this connection again. So yeah, go through these anyways. If at all you have it out, you can actually get back to me anytime. So these are all different types of stuff that you have in your Vulscan, and this is the actual script. So how do you get it? I think I've already discussed about this. You have to copy that. That is something that I have to do here. So all you have to do is git space clone space that particular link, and you'll have that rep cloned in your website. And this is the place where you can find the Nmap scripts. The default Nmap scripts, user share Nmap. This will take you to the Nmap folder. And in that, if you can see to the right, you have something called as scripts. So if you go into that scripts, you find all your scripts. Okay, these are again built in, whereas Vulners and Vulscan, I have added it externally. So if at all you clone the repository, all you have to do is get that script from there and place it in this Nmap scripts, and you can use it directly. Okay. So I'm just waiting for the chat box to show up and paste that link. So so this is the Vulscan, and this is okay. Let the chat box show up. I'll actually paste it. So meanwhile, let's actually see how to run those scripts. Okay. So as I told you, the command will be tag script equal to, and after the equal to, you have to place that location, and the default location whenever you put the script tag is actually this location itself. So you can directly mention the name. So if at all I want to do Vulscan, so I had the Vulscan folder inside, so I have to, place the location from that particular folder. So Vulscan / Vulscan dot NSE space, I want to perform an aggressive scan on 192.168.1.11, which is my Metasploitable. I've already started my Metasploitable, which is running on 1.11. So let me run that. And don't get scared if that search result is actually too large, okay? It will be. Because it has to give you all the references of the IDs and something like that. Obviously, you'll see a much larger output kind of thing compared to that. Oh, by the way, while it loads, do you guys have any doubts up till now? Guys?
Sir,
Yeah? Hello?
yes, sir.
Yeah, so I was saying, while the scanning actually goes on in the backend, do you guys have any doubt?
No.
Okay, that's good. Who's this? Abhishek. So I've pasted the two links for the GitHub repositories of those Vulscan and Walrus. You can get it from there. And also, obviously, I'll be sharing the PPD too. So yeah, let this run over here, and in another tab, we'll try to run the Walrus also. Nmap script equal to Walrus dot NSE. Use logos, aggressive scan 192.168.1.11 and let it run. If I'm not wrong, this is going to take a bit of time. So while that goes on in the background, let's actually continue with the presentation. That is a go. So let's get back to the presentation. So this was something about how you would load a custom script into the script engine of Nmap. Okay, you have to provide with -- script and location to the script, and the rest of the things I think you guys already know. The next particular tool that we're going to see is Nikto. Okay, Nikto is now a kind of tool that actually, when initiated, performs different types of scans, and it checks for really different crazy vulnerabilities all in one particular application. And those vulnerabilities, range from you can check it for injections, you can check for misconfigurations, you can check for DOS, you can check for scripting, file uploads, leaks, etc., whatnot. Okay, and the usage is also pretty simple. All you have to do is type out Nikto, tag host, or an alternative alias to tag host is tag URL, and provide with the IP or whatever.com, whatever site. Okay, that is pretty simple to use Nikto. And okay, this one is still running. Let's see if this gives. Okay. So that being said, I think we won't have the time to discuss about OpenVAS scanner today. I'll push the OpenVAS scanner to tomorrow. So right after we start tomorrow's session, we'll discuss about OpenVAS, how to set it up and stuff. But today we'll complete the Nikto scan, and we'll also see about WP scan, Zoom scan, and Droop scan. Okay. So since, yeah, anyways, in the background, anyways, this is running. So before we actually go ahead and look at Nikto 2, let's ask you guys if you guys have any experience working with content management systems. So you guys know what is a content management system?
No, sir.
Okay, simply, if at all you want to design a website and you don't have any coding knowledge or something like that, content management systems are where you can actually do it without any coding knowledge. Okay. So some examples of content management systems are WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. Maybe you don't know about CMS, content management system, but then you might have heard about WordPress definitely, is it?
Yes, sir. WordPress. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you guys anytime try to develop a website in WordPress?
Yes, sir. People actually use it for blogs and stuff.
Exactly. So, and one major advantage with content management systems is that you have pre-built plugins for everything. You don't have to write any manual code. All you have to do is use a page builder, drag and drop stuff to actually create a page and host it. Obviously, to host it, you need a hosting service provider or something like that. So that being said about CMSs, obviously that is also a website hosting platform again. So obviously it will have a little bit. So the WP scan, Joom scan, and Droop scan are specific tools to scan each of these. Okay, if you have a WordPress site and you want to scan it for vulnerabilities, you have WP scan. This one comes built in with Kali again. And if at all you want to do it on Joomla sites, you can use Joom scan. And if you want to do it on Drupal based sites, you have Droop scan. Okay. One thing about this is WP scan and Joom scan are built in with Kali, whereas you can get Droop scan from this link. Again, I think I actually clicked the chat, but then that's not coming up. So whenever it comes up, I'll paste it over there. So coming back to this, did any of these actually complete? Oh, right. So can you see the report, how long it is? So it actually came up with all the IDs and vulnerabilities that can possibly be there for a particular service and a particular like what do you say, a particular version that is back there. So obviously whenever you're doing these vulnerability assessments using Vulscan or Vulners, obviously they are good. They give you detail about stuff. Yeah, so here also. So whenever you're doing this, yeah. So this actually covers it up. Okay, fine. So see, do you see the extra line over here that tells about a server header HTTP vulnerability in that, not just the open port or something. The difference between Vulners and Vulscan is Vulscan gives everything in much detail. Okay. And let's actually close the Vulners part. And yeah, see. Thank you. Oh. All right. So yeah, so this is not going much further. So this is how big a Vulscan report will be. You can check out for different vulnerabilities in this, and if at all you have the OSVDB ID, you can actually go ahead and Google and search for it to get an exploit too. Okay, that was something about script. And now we're going to see about Nikto. So if you see the Nikto, these are different options. Yeah, this is also very well structured in terms of help manual. And for a detailed help, you can actually go with tag capital H. This will give you info about all these stuff. Okay, expanded kinds of thing. So as I was telling you, all you have to do is, let me again perform it on Auto Mutual. So Nikto dash host Auto.
Voice is clicking again.
How is it now? Hello?
Sir?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, but in between it's like just clipping.
Okay, fine. Then let me actually change my. Give me 1 minute. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, you guys want me to repeat some part of it from prior, or is it okay to continue from here?
Yes, sir. Continue. You're saying that let's try this on Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
You said just let's try it on Ultra now.
Alternate mutual, yeah. So I have Nikto on, and then specified the host. So alternating to the host, you can actually specify URL2 as an option, and then altoromutual.com. And it goes and performs those different scans on that. And if you want to see, there is an option that gives you something called as tuning. So what do you mean by tuning is, if at all you want to perform scans on only some parts of the huge list that is given over here, you can go ahead and flip up with the tag tuning, and after the tag tuning you can mention whatever numbers you want. It'll perform only those. Or if at all you want to perform something called as a reverse tuning, you have to mention X, and the only difference is, for example, if you give dash tuning space 123, it will perform only file scene and logs, mesh configurations, and information disclosure. If you type out X123 instead of 123, it will perform everything else. Okay, and the thing is, so whenever I'm going to do this, what's wrong with this? Why not? Oh, okay, so that is a problem. My net is not working. Oh, let me ping my own Metasploit accessible. So let me perform Nikto on my Metasploit 168.1.1. Right, there you go. So essentially, Nikto is something that's going to perform mostly on your web servers or web-based applications or something like that. So if at all you see here, you have these all vulnerabilities right now in your Metasploitable that is being hosted up, and you can also get the version that is used over here. And so okay, something like this. Let me perform it again. So, and before it goes haywire again, so these are some of the headers that needs to be present in your in your request that goes on from your web application. If they are not present, that means that, for example, if XSS protection header is not present in your request that goes out, that means that that is vulnerable to XSS cross-site scripting, and this is something for anti-click jacking. and content type options. Content type options, that means that sniff kind of thing. So X content type, if you provide and you have to give no sniff, that is when it protects you a bit with the sniffing part. So yeah, other than that, this also checks for directory found. So that means that this directory is listable. You can go to that URL, click it, and you can actually see files inside that. So right. So this is performed it on my Metasploitable, and you can see all these different kinds of stuff. So Nikto is for any website, okay, general web application, any general web application. Whereas if you want to see about, so I don't have any vulnerable WordPress sites as of now. So I'm just going to introduce you to WordPress scan. And anyways, this is an additional content, so you can actually go ahead and check. So if at all you want to set up any WordPress, you can actually set up turnkey Linux that you have. And tag. Sorry. So you can use this. So this is WP Scan is something that is specifically built to scan on WordPress sites. So there you go. You can mention your URL of that particular WordPress site, and other than that, you can. All of these tools have an additional option to output whatever you want in a file, so that you don't have to perform the scan again. You can have it for later reference or something like that. And then, other than that, this option, that is -E, you can use it to enumerate different stuff. So you have some kind of vulnerability in WordPress that actually gives out user information. So that is something about the API again, a vulnerability API that they use. So if you use the tag E and you use U, that will give you out the user IDs or usernames, and you have something that can actually enumerate the databases, something like that, and then vulnerable plugins that the site runs or something. So these have different kinds of options that you can use. So something similar will be Joom Scan and also Droop Scan. So you can go ahead and check it out, use different options, set up a vulnerable machine in your virtual box, try it out. Okay, that is something about WP Scan, Joom Scan, Droop Scan, and Nikto. Okay, so that being said about Nikto and WP Scan and these CMS scans, different scans, you guys have any doubt on up to this part? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right, so is it like you don't have any doubt or you didn't understand anything? You guys understood what I was trying to teach, right?
Yes.
That's great. Okay, so anyways, I think it is 1:10 almost already. So I'm going to start about just after time. Need to work on these. Yes. Please try on these tools, develop your skills in this particular area, and yeah. So if at all you want to take your cybersecurity career seriously, maybe you guys have to actually go on and don't limit yourself to only these scanners. Okay, you can actually go ahead and try different tools out there for different purposes, many things, etc. Okay, so OpenWare Scanner is a kind of it's a complete GUI based thing where you select a profile and initiate a task, and you have to refresh on that to perform different things, and the output will be presented in a very beautiful presentation kind of format, that you have visualizations, you have different graphs that show you multiple vulnerabilities associated with the CVIDs and scores and etc. And for each particular vulnerability, you have a detail about how to actually solve it, or how to actually use it to exploit. Okay, so OpenWare Scanner is something that is that great, and you can understand if an open source scanner tool is such great, you can understand how great Nessus and Qualys and Expose will be. Okay, So I'll start you up with OpenVAS Scanner in the next session, but let me actually show you how it looks. OpenVAS start. It started, and this is a web thing again, so it will be hosted on your what do you call on your local host on 9392 port, and yeah, let's see how it goes. So there you go. And anyways, I'll be teaching you how to set this up and stuff in the next session, that is tomorrow. But we will just log in. And you can see the dashboard right there. Looks beautiful, isn't it? So you have all your host topology, different stuff, all this. And the most important thing that you want to check out tomorrow is something about the Autofresh, which which you have to change it according to your need. And then the scans, reports or tasks. So a task is again where you have to, create whatever task you want. And then after you finish up with the task, you will find the reports under reports and the results under results. You can go ahead and check it. And this will be again arranged based on your date and time of the scan that actually happened. So yeah, you can all see this different stuff that has actually come up. So yeah, let's get into that in detail tomorrow. So saying so, this will be the last thing about today, and let's get to the assignment part. So you guys have to check out the brute force script, DNS brute force script of the Nmap, try performing that on your zone transfer or whatever, different vulnerable websites that you have. Try to get a free trial of Nessus Scan. Okay, Nessus also provides a limited free trial, so go ahead and try it out. Check that dashboard out, and see different profiles out there. And then this is about the DNS enumeration again. Check out about the NS lookup and Dig. Okay, Dig is also a crazy tool. Yeah, go ahead and check it out. So that being about today, you guys have any doubts? Good. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody has any doubts? Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for being there in this session. Hope you all got it up. Have to try them and actually understand. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead and try to understand. If at all you have any doubt, you can actually ping me up in WhatsApp, and I'll try my best to clear you. Okay. You can ping me up anytime. So done. Okay then. Bye bye. Have a good day ahead.